Welcome everyone. Today we are going to be covering part 2 of the top 10 credit unions for you to start building credit with besides Navy Federal. Now, I know Navy Federal is the #1 credit union in the United States right now, but for those of us that are not able to get into Navy Federal or have already ruined our relationship with Navy Federal, here are the top alternative banks that you can start building a relationship with and get to the bag. Without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get started. The next credit union that I want to talk about is Andrews Federal Credit Union. Here we have it. One of another top 5 credit unions that I would recommend building a relationship with, especially if you are unable to get into Navy Federal. So Andrews Federal Credit Union does have some membership eligibility, and let's go over that real quick. So if you are at least 18 years old and meet our membership criteria, you are eligible for an account. Okay, so one of the questions are you located in the United States? Yes. Another one of their qualifying questions is, do you work for one of the employer groups? So here is a list of their employer groups that they would require you to be employed with if you wish to join. So a lot of military, the list is right here. So it's a pretty significant list. So if you are an employee of one of those locations, you will qualify for a membership, right? Now, if you say you're like, no, I'm not employed with any of those places. Okay, no. Now it's going to ask you, are you active duty? Are you related to a spouse of the military? Or are you any relation to military, right? Because you could join off of that relation. Now, if you choose no, you're going to ask, do you live, work, attend school, or worship in Washington, D.C.? Now, if you select no, is someone in your household or immediate family a member of Andrews Federal Credit Union? If you select yes, same thing with Navy, you would qualify, right? So let's hit no. Are you a member of the American Consumer Council? No. Okay. Are you a civilian personnel of the U.S. military? If you say no, what's going to happen? Are you active duty? No. We'll just say no. Do you have any other military or affiliations, right? Grandfather, spouse, anybody? If you say no, based on the information you shared, you're not currently eligible for membership. So you would need to have a yes to one of those types of situations. Hopefully you can say, yes, I know a member. Yes, I'm related to a member, or I'm related to a military, or I'm employed with one of those places, or I worship. So one of those questions is going to have to be a yes in order for you to qualify for membership. Now, do I recommend lying about things? No, but sometimes we have to get creative. So if your parent was related, say their father was in the service, or they have someone that could qualify them to get an account, have your parent get a bank account, and then you can get a bank account from them being a member. Okay, sometimes you have to get a little bit creative, but I definitely recommend getting into Andrews as a member. Okay. Now, what are the benefits of becoming a member with Andrews Federal Credit Union? Well, they have personal accounts and they have business accounts. You can also do the secured pledge loan hack with them. Same concept. You want to open the account, let it marinate for 30 days. After you've been a member with them for at least 30 days, apply for the pledge loan or the secured loan. Some banks are also going to call it a certificate secured loan. So you want to do the secured loan, and you can call them right over the phone and set all of that up over the phone. Now you can kind of get an idea of some of the accounts that they have here as far as the personal side, and then on the business side. If you are a business, I recommend that you open up a personal and a business account with them. Now, Andrews is primarily popular in the DC area, Maryland, Virginia. Now, I have seen other people that have applied and that were in California or Texas, Florida. So you really just want to call and let them know your affiliation, how you can qualify to become a member, and make sure that you are able to join. Now, you can fill all of your application out online. If you do have a branch near you, of course, get out of the metaverse for a little bit, go build a relationship, okay? Talk to that business banker that has been there for 20 years or even 10 years that sees the amount of funding that they're giving out to their members, okay? Now, of course, with the business bankers, the more you get in funding, the more of a bonus they're going to get. So it's a win-win for both parties. They actually want you to get the funding. They actually want you to bring clients and refer people to them that are funding ready, right? But you don't want to refer a bunch of people that are not ready, okay? So that's why build your relationship, get an idea of what their criteria would be looking like. No one's ever going to tell you, or no bank is ever going to tell you, oh, well, we require a 650 credit score. It's not about the credit score with these banks. It's about what is on your credit report. That's why you will see people that have a lower credit score get approved versus someone that has a 750 or a 780 credit score, because you can easily get a 780 credit score by adding some authorized user trade lines on your credit profile. But guess what? You don't have anything that shows your characteristics as a consumer and if we as a bank can truly trust you. That's how they look at it, right? So you have to kind of understand the concept behind all of this. That's why it's so important for you to build up a strong personal credit profile, even though your credit score might not be where you want it to be right now. As long as you are building, you are on your way, and eventually it will happen. Can you add trade lines to boost it? Absolutely. But you're still going to need primary trade lines that are in your name and credit cards that are in your name that you're responsible for, loans that are in your name that you're responsible for paying, just like these pledge loans, so-called secured loans that we're talking about today. So one of the reasons why I like Andrew so much is because not only do they have personal credit cards, but they also have business credit cards. Now you can apply right here, and they have 4 different personal credit cards. One of them is a secured card. So if your credit score is not the greatest, you can apply for their secured card and it graduates, and you're still going to get 1 point on all of your purchases with the secured card. So it's a really great option to build credit. Now the titanium, obviously that's going to be their top tier card, and they have a bonus right now. You get 10,000 bonus points with the purchase of $1,500 within the first 90 days. And that's a pretty good sign-on bonus. So if you have good credit, it says right here, you're going to need good credit to apply for this. And good credit is usually something, 750 range. Okay. Fair credit can be anywhere from like a 650 up to like a 720, because again, the credit score that you're looking at, you might be using Credit Karma, okay? Or you might be looking at a credit monitoring company that provides a Vantage 3.0 scoring model, and they're using a FICO scoring model, okay? Now, every bank is going to use a different FICO scoring model, and they're going to pull from a different credit bureau. So that's something else that you want to consider. Now, I have seen Andrew's pull from Experian. I have also seen Andrew's pull from TransUnion. Now, I'm here in California. It does vary. So if I were you, I would just do your due diligence and ask the banker, what credit report are you guys going to be using to run my credit, right? That way you can freeze the other 2, because you really only want them to pull from one bureau, okay? And most likely, Andrews is going to be using Experian. But another thing you want to keep in mind is things are always changing. So what information may be relevant today might not be relevant tomorrow or next month. So always do your own due diligence, no matter what anyone says, me included, because things do change. But you can see here you have a variety of credit cards that you can choose from. And you can even start building if you don't have the best credit card, because their secured credit card will allow you to do the secured option. You can easily do a $500 deposit and you will get that deposit back in a few months. Okay, it's great for rebuilding. You can get 1 point. Oh, not sure what happened. You can get 1 point on all purchases. So it's a great way for you to start getting in that habit of using your credit card, not your debit card, and paying off what expenses you've made. I recommend paying every Friday. Every time you get paid, treat your credit card as if it was a debit card. You're not going to spend what you don't have. You're not going to spend what you can't pay in cash, okay? Unless it's some sort of, business, something that you're going to invest in where it could make you money. Okay. Other than that, the credit cards are not for DoorDash and they're not for Uber Eats and they're not to go, spend on, designer crap. It's literally to be used wisely to build wealth, to build. Okay. So let's move on to another credit union, because I know, I've rambled on about Andrews long enough, but you can always head on over to their website and check out and learn more about Andrews Federal Credit Union. The next credit union that I'm going to be talking about is San Diego County Credit Union. And this is primarily for San Diego County residents, California. And again, you can always do the, foreign entity if you wanted to get one of these accounts. If you don't have a business and you wanted to sign up for a personal account, you can use the same concept. You would just need to get a virtual mailing address in the area. You can do that with a number of different locations, like, say, for example, 𝐼Postal1. You can get a personal mailing address. And again, these addresses are important because if you live in a nice neighborhood, then of course you're going to get better limits. You're going to get better approvals. If you live in a low income area and are using that on your application, chances are you're probably not going to get that high of limits. So that's another thing that people use in order to get higher limits is they will invest in, partnering with people where they can receive mail on their behalf and they can forward it to them. Sometimes they're businesses, sometimes they're individuals. But using their address as the mailing address so they get higher approvals. Someone that lives in Beverly Hills, California, is probably going to get a higher limit credit card than someone who lives, say, for example, in like Modesto, California. That's just how it goes, right? It's based on your location, whether we like to believe so or not. Now, San Diego County Credit Union, they have both personal and business accounts. So they have a lot of different options for you small business owners out there. Again, if you have issues opening up bank accounts, we need to get that corrected right away. So they have a ton of different credit cards. They have their Visa signature card. There's no annual fee for the first year, but then it is $89 after that. But you have a lot of perks here. So there are a lot of perks with their credit cards, which is another reason why I really like their credit cards. They have the Cash Reward Visa Platinum. There is no annual fee here, and you do get 1% cash back. So that's great. And then they have the Visa Platinum with Fly Miles Plus. There is no annual fee for the first year and $35 thereafter, except when your total annual purchases exceed $6,000. You could easily do that, okay? You can earn up to 120,000 points in a year per enrolled card. That's pretty awesome. And you earn an additional $1,000 points if enrolled in the optional Fly Miles Plus program. So those are some pretty good perks if you ask me. And again, you can get multiple credit cards with San Diego County Credit Union. They even have a secured credit card for those of you that are rebuilding. Maybe you didn't get approved for one of their other credit cards, but hey, let's use the secured credit card to get our foot in the door and start building that relationship, right? You can also do the secured loan with San Diego County San Diego County Credit Union. That CC gets you sometimes. Try saying that 10 times in a row. But you can apply for multiple credit cards. I don't recommend doing it at the same time. You want to wait. Again, you are only able to ask somebody out on a date one time to the same place, right? In a period of time. If you wanted to get multiple credit products, it should be, say, one credit card and like an auto loan or some other sort of installment loan, but not two credit cards at the same time. Have I seen people get approved for it in the past? Yes. But do I recommend it? No. I recommend, again, this is the build, break, build method, where we get in the door, we build our relationship, right? Make that initial deposit, wait 30 days, do that pledge loan, wait another 60 days, build, take a break, build. Okay, now we're going to build up on the credit card once we've been there for 90 days, take a break, right? And then we're going to build. After about 60 to 90 days, you can apply for something else. Some people have been a little antsy and only waited 30 days. They still got approved, but everybody is different. It's all based on relationships. It's all based on, deposit. That plays a big role. So if you can make some hefty deposit, especially when opening the account, so you can get that initial bank scoring, then that's easily going to get you on the right track with this bank. Something to keep in mind that you don't want to do with any bank. Now, keep in mind, banking relationships are the same concept, right? You open bank accounts, you open a checking, you open a savings. You let that marinate, you open it with the biggest amount that you possibly can. You let that marinate for as long as you possibly can. You wait 30 days, you get a pledge loan or a secured loan, and you let that roll. You wait another 60 days, you get the credit card. Now, do not. If you don't remember anything about this video, remember this. Do not get overdrafts with these bank accounts, okay? That is going to kill your probability of getting approved, okay? If you are getting, insufficient funds in your checking account, that is a high risk, okay? You are now going to be labeled high risk. So you do not want to get any overdraft fees. You do not want to become negative in your bank account. You want to make sure that you are not even using this bank account, okay? Just make the deposit and let the money marinate, okay? Let it marinate, baby, because you don't want to rush this, okay? If you don't have a lot of money to allow to marinate, do $500, do $1,000. Some of these accounts you can open up for as low as $5. Okay. Do I recommend opening a bank account with $5? No. All right. At least minimum, you should have $100 to $500 that you're opening these accounts with. But sometimes we don't have it like that right now. And if that is the case, that's fine. But, some of these accounts will allow you to open up the bank account with a credit card. Not all of them, but some of them. So if they do allow you to fund your account using a credit card, by all means, do it. If not, then you can load it with your debit card, or you can make a transfer to them. So personal and business credit cards, again, very low docs as far as the business credit cards go. And that's one of the reasons why I really like this bank, is because they really cater to the business side. They have exceptional bankers there. That's why I recommend building a relationship with a banker inside of the branch. If you're not local or you're not in San Diego a lot, you can call, just try to get in, email, anything that you can do to find some insight information on, what their underwriting is going to want to see, because we're not going to get to the underwriters. Let's just be honest. The middleman between us and the underwriters are the business bankers. They are the bankers. They see what the underwriters come back with. They see what the small businesses are putting on their applications. They have an idea of what works and what doesn't work, right? And it's in both of your interests to get approved, right? The banker is going to make a little something. Obviously, they have a quota that they have to uphold, and that's what you want. So it's a win-win for both parties. So let's talk about some of the business credit cards that they have on their business side. That's pretty cool. They have over 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs. That's always a plus. That's always a plus. You can apply online, or you can visit a branch to apply. Now, when you are in the realm of a branch, I always would recommend going into the branch and putting in your application with a relationship manager. Now it says here, you can get credit limits from $5,000 to $20,000. That's you can get up to $20,000. That's awesome. Okay. I would definitely like a $20,000 business credit card from you. Yes, please. Right? Because that's just adding to your arsenal of credit on your business side that does not report to your personal credit. They also do commercial real estate loans. So if you want to buy real estate under your business, this is a great bank to do it with. And it does not report to your personal credit. So these are some of the things that can be used to build wealth. Is it going to happen right now, today, or tomorrow? Maybe not. Maybe you're not in that position. But these are things that why you want to build a relationship, why you want to start now. If you haven't started your business, use ink.file to get your business started and registered with the state, and they will even register with the IRS for you, right? You can get everything done through ink.file. I'll leave a link below. ink.file has literally been a game changer for me. You get 1 year free registered agent. Only thing that you need to get started is your business address and your business telephone number. That's really all you need. And you can do that with Opus. You can get a business address and a business telephone number for $99 a month with Opus. And we left a link below for you to do that. And you can actually save up to $100 off of the sign-up fee with Opus by using our code. I've been using Opus for over 15 years. Before I even started this business, that's who I was using to start our branch locations. So that is a great way for you to just get started, get that business address and that business telephone number. So that way you can start establishing some history on your business. So when you are ready to go and apply for these business credit cards that don't require much documents, you're going to be approved because you're going to have good personal credit, which is going to be required. And that's really all that you're going to need at this point. Now, it is important to start building business credit, start establishing yourself, but you don't need to have any business credit cards before you go apply, because a lot of these credit union banks, they are primarily pulling your personal credit versus, the Experian, Equifax, SBFE reports that, other banks might be looking at. Generally, just speaking overall, I've never had a bank pull Dun & Bradstreet. I've never heard of a bank pulling Dun & Bradstreet. Again, I mentioned this before. Dun & Bradstreet is vendor, they're for the vendors. They're for the suppliers. They're for, other small businesses. The major banks, they're going to be looking at Experian on the business side, and they're going to be looking at Equifax on the business side. And then there's some other ones that are coming out too, like SBFE. More and more places are looking at SBFE. They're looking at PayNet. So, there's a lot of places that you have to consider when you're building credit on the business side. And I have a whole video on that, so I won't get too much into that. But San Diego County Credit Union, great bank. Check them out. We will move on to our next bank. Many of you may have heard of this bank, NIH, Federal Credit Union. I really like NIH. You can also do the certificate pledge loan or certificate secured loan with NIH. And they have some really amazing products, not only for the consumer side, but for the business side as well. So you can head over to their website and you can check out on the consumer side and the business side. They also have, pretty much any type of funding that you would need from, the business, auto, they have the vehicles, and they have pretty good rates because vehicle rates aren't the best right now, as we all know. But that's why we want to use credit unions. If you already have a relationship with a credit union like NIH, you can get an auto loan directly through them and not even have to worry about the auto dealer pulling your credit a million times. And you will have a much better interest rate if you get the funding directly from a credit union like NIH. Now, they also do home improvements. So that's another option that you guys can check out. Home equity, mortgages, credit cards. I really like this for students as well. So if you are a student and you're kind of in that phase where you're building your credit, NIH is a great bank to do that with. So here are some of their credit cards that they have. No annual fee for the Visa credit cards, which are great. You can get credit limits up to $25,000. I like that. I like that number a lot. Not quite as high as Navy Federal, but very comparable, right? Very comparable. You just have to understand when you want to get higher limits, you need to have comparable credit. If your highest credit card is $500 and you're mad at me because you can't get a $25,000 credit card, honey, let me tell you something. Listen when I say you have to have comparable credit. What makes you think they're going to trust you with a $25,000 credit card when the highest credit card that you have on your credit report is $500? Chances are they might give you $2,000, right? They might give you $25,000. You have to have comparable credit. Invest in some trade lines. If your family or your friends, you don't have anyone that has credit cards that they can add you to as an authorized user that, have 100% on-time payment history and have a low credit card utilization, those are the two qualifying factors, right? Because someone might say, oh, I have a credit card, but I have a bunch of late payments. No. Or I have a credit card, but it's maxed out. No, that's not going to help you. Purchase trade lines, invest in your credit. That's something that has always helped me. I invested in trade lines for about 2 years before I really started getting all, those much higher limits. Because again, I was starting off at the baby limits, the 500s, the 200s, the 750. I would be lucky if I got 1500. So that's why you invest in these higher limit trade lines so you can have comparable credit. So when they look at your credit profile, they're like, oh, 15K, oh, 25K, we'll give them 12.5, So that's good, right? We'll take the 12.5 to start off with, because after you get your foot in the door, and here's another hack, here's another pro tip for you folks. Before you accept the offer, you can call their reconsideration line and say, hey, I was approved for 12.5, but I feel like I should have been approved for 20. Is there any way that you can push me through for 20,000? Because I really want to buy some furniture for my house, or, I feel like, I feel like I should have been approved for more, right? See if they can push you through for a higher limit before you actually accept the offer. Now, if they can't, push you through for a higher limit on the reconsideration line. And that's another thing, is if you get denied, also call the reconsideration line, because some of you guys have fraud alerts on your credit report. So you got denied because of a fraud alert. I had a client last week. He said, no, I don't have any fraud alerts. I'm ready to get funding, Nicole. And guess what? I don't charge a success fee. I will show you how to do it. I show you how to fish so you can be successful, right? So he signed up for a coaching package. First thing that happened, I look at his credit reports. He has fraud alerts on 2 of his credit reports. We cannot apply while you have fraud alerts because it could lead to a denial. Have I seen people get approved? Yes, but you don't want to go after a funding sequence when you have fraud alerts on your credit report. Those are listed under your consumer statement. You have to get those removed. And if you need help, you can reach out or you can call the credit bureau to get them removed. But back to this, if for some reason they're not able to approve you through the reconsideration line, or they're not able to increase your limit, accept what they gave you, and then you can ask for credit line increases every 60 to 90 days and, keep on bumping yourself up. But you're of course going to have to use the card and pay it off, use and pay. So you can manufacture spend, you can pay for all of your bills using your credit card and pay your cash to your credit card. You can pay your rent, your mortgage, you could pay your car payments, you could pay everything with your credit card. You won't pay interest as long as you pay it before the next cycle starts. So that's something that you can potentially do. There's a company, a third-party app out there called 𝓔𝓏, and you can use them to pay for everything, just about everything with your credit card. Is there a cost involved? Absolutely. You have to make sure that it's going to make sense for you. If it makes sense for you and it's worth it to you, then by all means do it. If it's not worth it for you, then just do it organically. If you have a lot of spend, if you pay for things with your debit card, instead of using that debit card or cash, use your credit card and use your cash to pay for your credit card. Okay. Here are some other cards that they have. I really like this because, again, 0% interest for the first 15 months. Hello, on purchases and balance transfers. Hello, earn 4% cash back rewards in the first 12 months and 3% thereafter. I'm putting all my spend on this card, all my spend. Okay, so that's great. And then for those of you that like to travel, this is a great card to sign up for, and they have some really amazing bonuses. And again, 0% interest for 15 months. So they have some amazing cards, including their secured card that can at least help you get through the door. So if you are paying interest on some credit cards right now and you are not able to pay them off in full, you can get one of these cards and you can balance transfer to this card, and at least you won't be paying interest for the next 15 months. So boom, that's going to save you a ton of money, and hopefully you can get that debt paid off, and you can just let them know, look, I plan to balance transfer to you guys, right? So these are some of the personal cards that I would highly recommend you guys apply with, and again, start building your relationship with NIH. Now, let's talk about some of the stuff that's on the business side. So they have some business options for you guys, but it is not as much as other banks, right? They have business loans and they have some business stuff going on, but because it is kind of limited, but it's definitely worth looking into it to see if this would be something that could benefit you, because they offer real estate, lines of credit, equipment loans, SBA loans, and then of course they have their Visa Business Rewards credit card that has a 9.9% intro APR for the first 12 months on purchases and balance transfers. So it's, a lower interest rate, but again, it doesn't report to your personal credit. You are going to need to personally guarantee it for your business, unless of course your business is just major cash flowing. But other than that, with most, if not all of these cards, you are going to have to provide your personal credit so they can make sure that the owner of the business is going to be, paying the debt back, and they can trust you, right? You have to have good personal credit in order to get the good business credit products. And, what I suggest is your credit be at least a 680. If you can get it higher, great. But, again, they're not going to say, well, you have to have at least, this credit score. Sometimes they'll say, well, we would like for you to be at least a 680, but sometimes you can even get denied when they say a certain score, because again, it's based on the credit profile, the data points. Okay. So here's what they're basically saying about the business lending is you can purchase or refinance real estate. They can help you grow or start your business. So they are startup friendly. So that's going to be very important for those of you that are just getting started and are a newer business. And you can also purchase equipment for your business as well. So they have commercial real estate loans. Those are some pretty good rates, because right now it's ugly. Okay. But these are nice looking. Okay. I would definitely go after that if you are looking to get commercial real estate. Commercial loans, 50,000 to 350,000, loans up to 15 years. And then, of course, SBA, the Small Business Administration, they offer SBA loans. So those are great for people that, are more like established business and want to purchase or refinance real estate, business equipment. You can do for business marketing, business growth. There's so many different, scenarios that you can use an SBA loan for. So you just want to set up a consultation and speak with them. Generally, SBA loans, they're a little tighter on their requirements, and a lot of times they want your credit to be at least a 700, and they are going to require business documents. So they're probably going to want some tax returns, bank statements, profit and loss, just, a number of different documents that they could potentially request from you. But of course, they'll let you know all of that. So NIH, great credit union to join for both personal and for business. So we have gone over almost all of our credit unions that I have put on the top 10 list other than Navy Federal. And the last one, but certainly not least, is Langley Credit Union. And Langley is great for both personal and for businesses. So they have a lot of different business resources for those of you that are small business owners, including payroll services. Now, if you are not familiar, I recommend payroll services through ADP. And I will leave a link below for ADP, but they make it super easy for you. And it also allows you to build credit for your business by using their service, because they're actually going to report as a trade line. So it's just another way that you can kind of double dip and say, hey, I might as well use them if I'm going to get a trade line out of it as well, right? But with the personal side, you can see all of the different options that they offer. They do offer the pledge loan hack here as well. So it's a great way for you to start that relationship off with them. They also have the youth accounts, which I really like, because as many of you may know, I have a younger daughter and we're starting to, build up her accounts and, all of those different things. So that way, when she does turn 18, she'll have some money that's saved up for her. We have the credit cards for the personal side, and we've got the Platinum, Quint Visa, the cashback. Their rates are pretty good right now, especially for their auto. If you can find an auto loan under 5% or any auto loan under 5% for that matter, that's a pretty good option. So these are their different credit cards that they have on the personal side. And you can kind of go through this. I would prefer going with credit cards that are going to offer some sort of introduction bonus, like something like 0% interest for a year or whatever the offer is. This is their offer for the Quint Visa. They're going to give you a $50 savings credit with the first $1,000 spent in the 90 days. Not that great, right? But, some different cards have different introductions, so you just kind of have to go through and see what's going to be best for you. You definitely want to, spread your wings amongst these credit unions. I would recommend, opening 3 at a time, and then, wait at least 6 months before you open some more bank accounts, because you don't want to do this too fast. You really want to, come in and, select those 2 to 3 accounts that you're going to groom and build the relationship with over the next 6 months. Have that plan of action, get your dates right, and start dating, start taking them out on some dates and building that relationship with them. So that way they feel comfortable lending to you. You don't want to just go in hot and say, hey, I'm ready for you to give me some money. They're going to be like, who are you? We don't even know you. No, stop, don't, right? But you don't want that. We want to build that relation on the personal side and the business side. And you can see here, they got commercial loans, business credit cards, small business line of credit. So if you are looking for a business line of credit, they also have the business auto loans. None of these report to your personal credit either. So that's something very amazing, because you can literally hide your debt. So if you are looking to purchase a home in the near future and you have a bunch of debt on your personal credit, try to get that debt put under your business credit. Try to refinance your auto loan so it goes under your business. Move that debt to your business side, especially if it was business debt to begin with, right? That's, some of the tips that I can give you guys. But Langley is a great credit union for you guys to invest in. The last thing that I want to mention, because I know this video went way longer than expected, but If you haven't by now, make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. Follow me on Instagram at Credit Coach Nicole Scott, and visit the links below. We have our credit course. We have our business credit course. I offer one-on-one coaching. And at some point in the near future, once we get everything together, we are going to be starting a group mentorship for us to talk more about these things and build up some accountability and some community so we can all work together to reach our personal and business credit goals and build wealth. That's what it's all about. Building, building, building. Okay. And that takes time. If you're building a solid foundation, it's going to take time. We're not doing the microwavable meals. Okay. We're not doing that. We don't want to fall apart in a year or two. We want to build longevity, and that takes time, okay? It takes time. It takes money. If you don't have money, it's going to take even longer amount of time, right? So you've got to, make some sacrifices, and sometimes that's not always easy. It's all about mindset. You have to change your mind. You have to start thinking the way that things really are. Erase everything out of your mind that you once thought. Listen to the videos that are out there. Understand the concept behind credit. Watch the Credit Concept podcast. The last tip that I'm going to leave you guys with today is, when you are getting a business address, this is really, really important. This is like a super hack. So if you've watched this entire video, this hack is right for you. Okay. Before you get your business address, you want to head over to the USPS website. This is the United States Postal Service. You want to go to Quick Tools. And you want to look up a zip code, okay? You want to double check your address to make sure that your address is not selected as a mail receiving address. You also want to just do a quick Google search on your business address to make sure that the pictures show that it is an office location. So what you want to do is you want to click on address, and we're just going to type in my business address here on Broadway in Oakland and do find. You'll see the business name comes up, and here are the data points right here. You'll see, is this a commercial mail receiving agency? Right there. Right? We need that to say no, because if it says yes, that means that this business at this location is receiving commercial mail on behalf of other businesses. So we need that to say no. This is a huge tip. This is why it's so important for you to set up your business foundation the right way to begin with. Not using your home address. Yes, you can, but it's just really not recommended. You want to use an actual business location, an actual brick and mortar business location. And I've talked about this in a lot of my other videos. I'm not going to harp on it too much here, guys, because this video is really just about the credit unions that you can go to besides Navy Federal that are going to show you some love, especially if you don't have the best credit score, because you can build that relationship with them. You can do the secured loan with them. You can take that same secured loan and take it to the 3 banks and have a secured loan out with all of them at the same time. As long as you're paying it back on time, that's all that matters, right? So that is it. That is all for today's video. I appreciate you so much for tuning in today. Make sure you take a screenshot of the top 10 credit unions that you can join besides Navy Federal, because not everyone can join Navy Federal, although they are probably my #1 pick. These are the other top 10, not to mention there are a ton of other banks out there. One other tip that I can leave you with, and I'm just going all in today, guys, like literally I'm giving you all of the sauce today. So I'm going to need you to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I know it's a whole lot, but let's break it down. I'm going to need you to like the video. I need you to comment on the video. Just give me, hey, it was great. Something for YouTube's algorithm to pick up on and to share this with more people when they search, right? Because there's so many people out there. And my videos don't come up in the top searches because I'm a newer YouTuber. Although I've been around for some years, I'm newer to the game, and I need you guys to help me grow my channel organically by liking my videos, leaving me a comment, letting me know if you found value, because that's what helps keep me going, right? And sharing it on your social media platforms with your friends and family who can also learn from these videos, because this information is truly life-changing, and all that you have to do is learn before you earn. Okay, that's the bottom line. Learn before you earn. But bank branch locator, try to say that 10 times in a row. Okay, bank branch locator is a great way for you to find the top banks in your area that you're going to qualify for based on your geographic location. So these are some of the top banks in the United States. You're going to see your Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. We've got PNC, US Bank, Truist. We've got TD Bank, Huntington, Fifth Third, Regions, M&T, Key Bank. There's so many banks out there, right? But those are going to be some of the top banks. But say, for example, you're like, well, I live in, say, California, right? So what are the best banks to go to in California? And here are the top 20 banks in California. So this is Union Bank, Citibank, Bank of the West, Mechanics. I always recommend trying to find those smaller community banks or smaller credit union banks that are in your area, because they are going to have an invested interest on, helping their community. Okay. But again, there's so many different banks out there. It's just really going to be about, you doing some due diligence and seeing who is going to have the best personal and business products. If you don't care about business products, who's going to have the best personal products for you and give the highest limits? City National Bank, that's another one of my, top banks that I refer people to get funding. But in California, obviously, these are going to be the ones, the Wells, the Chase, the Bank of America, the US Bank. Those are going to be like your heavy hitters, right? But they're also going to be, kind of, more heavy on the credit side of things. They're going to want you to have a higher credit score, a better credit profile, so on and so forth. And, you could just check this out based on your location. It's going to tell you, the largest banks in your area. You can even go a step further and look at your particular city that you're in. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a search for like the Sacramento area, because that is where I'm located at. If you guys didn't know, now you know. I crack myself up sometimes. Okay, so Sacramento, here are some of the banks in Sacramento. Now, obviously, a lot of these banks are going to be like your major banks. So we got Bank of America, Bank of Marin. That might be one worth checking out. Bank of the West, Banner, Beal Bank. I always like banks that are associated with, like, say, military, because they're going to have an invested interest in helping their members. California Bank and Trust, Chase, Citibank. You could just kind of check and see all of these different banks that are going to be right in your area. And believe it or not, like, some of these banks I've never even heard of, seen, nothing. So that's why it's so important for you guys to have this information, do your due diligence, because maybe, Wells Fargo isn't giving you squat, right? Well, take your business somewhere else, take your business over to US Bank or United Business Bank, one of these banks that are going to give you the bag, right? We don't have to stay monogamous to one bank. PNC, that's another one of my top pick banks, and they are great on the personal and the business side. They are going to be pulling from your SBFE on the business side, so be prepared for that. But we also sell business trade lines, which can help you. So if you are interested in personal trade lines or business trade lines, you definitely want to check out the links below, and we can help you out with that. But this is just an example to show you guys how powerful this information is, because, some of these banks are great banks, versus say you're rebuilding your credit and you're using like First Progress or, Sky Bank or Sky One or some of these just horrible, secured credit cards. You can go to these banks. You can do a secured loan, which generally the secured loans are no hard credit pull to you. And then after about 60 days that you've had the secured loan and you've paid it on time, right? You can apply for their credit products. And if you don't qualify for anything else, you can get their secured credit card with a small deposit that will eventually graduate. But at least you're building your relationship and you're building credit. Okay. So this is a great tip. Now, the last tip that I'm just going overboard for you guys today. Like, I don't even know if I should really just be giving you this information because, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot, but I guess I will. But I need you to like my video and I need you to subscribe and comment, please. Okay. And if you stuck around this long, I know you are having a good time with me here because I'm having a great time, right? I'm having a great time. And I thank you so much for spending your time with me. But here's another site that you guys can use to get some more banks, ibanknet.com. So this is where you can actually look up, different banks, federal savings banks, credit unions, and you can just kind of get an idea of their deposits. Like obviously right here, Navy Federal, they're number one, right? But number two, state employees. Number three, Pentagon Federal Credit Union. That was PenFed that we went over earlier. Boeing, Schools, Golden One, Alliant, America's First, First Tech, Mountain America, Suncoast. The list goes on and on. Here's another list. This list is 100 credit unions. I just gave y'all the game. So now it's up to you to execute. Okay. Do your research, execute. If you want more one-on-one coaching with none other than credit coach Nicole Scott, make sure to visit the links below in the description, sign up for our course. You can also sign up for our credit coaching, which is one-on-one with myself. The one-on-one coaching packages do include the course. So if you want to get the course with some one-on-one coaching, I would recommend doing that because the courses are going to be included. All of my courses and digital products are included with the one-on-one coaching. So you can review that and ask questions, or we could talk about, whatever your goals may be, whether it's personal credit, business credit, or business operations. I've got you. So until next time, guys, make sure that you've watched all of the other videos on the playlist coming up next. Take care.